This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news at this hour, red tide continues to linger in parts of the Suncoast. Areas along Longboat Key are still dealing with fish kills. ABC 7's Rick Adams joins us live for the latest on this continuing problem. Rick?
Yes, Scott, I'm actually here at one of the canals in Longboat Key, and I'm joined by the Longboat Key Public Works. It's Juan Florenza, and he's going to tell us has been. And hey, Juan, thanks for coming on here for the noon newscast. First off, just tell us a little bit about what you've been experiencing here on Longboat Key.
Thank you. Over the last 4 to 6 weeks, we've seen a lot of dead fish coming on our canals, on our beaches. As a matter of fact, we have removed about 55 tons of dead fish, about 44 tons from the beach and about 11 or 12 tons from our canals like the one behind me thus far.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of fish and a lot of stink, I guess, that comes along with it. And what exactly do you do to clean up the dead fish?
Yeah, we do a weekly survey. Usually on Mondays, we go and we survey or monitor most of the canals based on the amount of fish and the smell itself. Then we mobilize usually Tuesday, Wednesday. We come out with our own crews, small boat that we have, and we actually scoop them out, remove them, and take them to the landfill. We've been doing that about once or twice per week for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, sounds very, very involved. And finally, I guess there are issues with the marinas around here. They're asking for cleanup as well. What's the latest with that?
Yeah, well, we were authorized to clean what we call the public canals and navigational canals in the area that are public, used by the public. The marinas that are private, the town commission has not authorized us to do that. They may reconsider that in the future depending on the severity. Marinas are a little more difficult. A lot of boats moored side by side, make it more difficult, more time consuming, and therefore more expensive.
All right, Juan, we do appreciate your time this afternoon, and keep up the great work. It seems like it's a lot of work.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Juan. And that's Juan Florenza with the Public Works here in Longboat Key. And we'll have more on this story coming up at 5 o'clock a little bit later on today. In the meantime, I'm Rick Adams reporting live from Longboat Key. Back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you so much. An update now on a Sarasota preschool that was cited for safety violations last month. The Department of Children and Families is now getting involved after the Early Learning Coalition alerted parents that a child at the Kinderhouse preschool was left in a school vehicle. Sarasota Herald Tribune reporting that child was left in a van for about 2 hours during a school field trip. The child was not harmed in the incident. The school has been fined $250 and has been ordered to come up with a corrective action plan. Field trips have also been suspended at the school. A family is safe after their boat catches fire off the coast of Manatee County. Michael Whitmer of Deerfield Beach was boating with his family when he saw the boat on fire. He rushed in to help, pulling in as close as he could to rescue the family on board that burning boat.
They were very excited that someone has finally showed up to save them, although they did not want to jump in the water to get to us, which was very interesting. Finally, after telling them jump in the water, I think they were very scared. They didn't know what was going on.
Family rescued a young boy, his parents, and his grandfather. They spent the remainder of the afternoon with them. The Whitmers say they're not heroes. They were just glad they were there to help. New at noon, the city of Sarasota is currently testing the waters near Hog Creek after untreated wastewater spilled into a drainage system. This all happened Sunday morning at the intersection of 11th Street and US 41. City officials say 600 gallons of untreated wastewater leaked from a manhole and then spilled into the stormwater system. Wastewater then entered Hog Creek. The city has treated that area with lime and is continuing to test the water in that area. An update now on Sunday's car crash into a downtown Sarasota business. Bravo's Pizza is expected to reopen today, although it will only have one working oven. Yesterday morning, an SUV drove onto the sidewalk and plowed through the restaurant's patio area before hitting the building and knocking out a gas meter. An employee who was setting up tables had just gone inside when this accident happened. The driver was arrested. The owner of the restaurant told the Sarasota Herald Tribune the crash did about $16,000 worth of damage. New at noon today, Longboat Key is known for its beautiful beaches, but now it has a new title, Safest Community in Florida. According to the website Protect America, Longboat Key is the #1 burglary safe zone in the state. The rankings were created based on data from the FBI Uniform Crime Report. Punta Gorda also making that list. Time now to get a check on our weather on this Monday afternoon, and a cloudy one at that.
Yeah, a little cloudy.
Any rain out there, though? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
well,
wondering.
not so much rain, but there's little patches of drizzle.
Yeah.
That's about what we get today, about a 10% chance of some patchy drizzle moving on past, which, won't do the lawns any good, even though we could really use a little bit of rain around here.
I don't think we've had any rain this month yet. have
Over a
we?
month, yeah.
Yeah.
Over a month, yeah. It's been a long period, about 27 days, I think,
Wow.
of no rain really to speak of.
Yeah.
I think as we head into the next couple of days, the chances of rain will even get less. A lot more sunshine around second half of the day tomorrow. Today we still have these clouds to deal with, which our Sarasota Bay webcam shows. Clouds around the area, thick at times. At other times, the sun kind of peeks through, little breaks in the clouds. So you get that kind of mix of sun and clouds. But honestly, we're going to be battling back those clouds all day long today. You can see that long plume of moisture and thin clouds crossing the state now, all associated with a cold front sinking south. And as I mentioned, contained within those clouds, there are occasional bits of light, patchy drizzle for the most part. I think that'll be the case throughout the next probably 12 to 18 hours, and then we'll start to see some clearing. Put the rain chance at about 10% today, with a daytime high topping out about 78 degrees or so, 79. And then some changes coming up that I think you're going to like. We'll talk all about that, plus possible tropical development, all in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Overnight bridge repairs may slow traffic on the Barrier Islands. The Florida Department of Transportation is repairing the Longboat Pass Bridge that links Longboat Key and Anna Maria Island. Workers will close lanes from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The construction is expected to last through Thursday morning. FDOT officials say repairs will stop if it causes any traffic delays. In South Sarasota County, construction is set to begin today on a multi-use walking trail in Venice. It runs through Heritage Park. Crews will be widening the trail, changing the slope to make it more wheelchair accessible. Portions of that trail will be closed off during the project, and there could be periodic traffic delays in that area. Work is expected to last about 3 months. And all month long, ABC 7 is looking forward into the future. Here on the Suncoast today, we're examining the future of our libraries. With so much information offered now online, will there be a need for an actual library building? Funding would play a big role in all of that. Will there be enough money for this type of service in the future? And could it all change?
Funding for libraries is challenging. There is a role for government to support that, in part because there are people in the community that don't have the resources that others do. So that digital divide or that information gap that people talk about, it's a role of the government to help people be informed.
The Library Foundation also helps fund services so libraries don't have to rely solely on county funding. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now. Richard, we had quite a week last week on Wall Street. How are we starting? Is that rally continuing this week?
Well, Scott, we certainly started out that way. About 10 o'clock this morning, or shortly after 10, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up by 87 points, which so far proves to be the high of the day. But just a quick review. Last week was extraordinary, obviously the election on Tuesday, but for the week, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up every single day. 5 days in a row, more than 900 points for the Dow, and record closes on both Thursday and Friday. So with that as preamble, let's see how we're doing today. And frankly, it's pretty quiet right now. There you see the Dow Jones Industrial Average down less than 11 points, just 0.06% at 18,836.95. That on volume of 419 million shares. The NASDAQ is the biggest loser. It's down by 0.5%, 25 points at 5,212.01. That on volume of 644 million shares. And the S&P barely moving, down less than 0.2%, less than 3.5 points at 2,161.03. Well, you may realize that all year long, these so-called brick and mortar stores have just been losing money, and the reason was online shopping. Well, that seems to be turning around very quickly. Believe it or not, retailers today, and I mean today, are up at least 6%. Nordstrom's, Macy's, Urban Outfitters, and Kohl's all up at least 6%. Ralph Lauren up more than 4%. And of course, these companies all came out with better than expected earnings, and every one of them said they are now looking forward to a very, very strong holiday season. And Scott, I did a little mathematics, found out there are only 40 shopping days left until Christmas, and I'm sure that has something to do with these stocks rallying as strongly as they have today.
Yeah, big change for those companies for
Absolutely.
sure. We're going to see you at 5 o'clock?
I'll be here.
All right, look forward to it. Richard, thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott.
A big show of support for Bradenton teacher going through the fight of her life. Students and staff put together a flash mob this morning at Rowlett Academy. The entire student body of about 800 danced and sang in support of third grade teacher Jessica Bass, who's currently fighting breast cancer. They performed this to, as you can hear, This Is My Fight song. The group also wore as much pink as they could get on. Good job for them. I'm sure it meant a lot to that teacher. Time now to get over to the kitchen and check in with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher to see what she's cooking for us today. Judy?
I love making recipes that I can do something that friends will like. It'll feel comfy, but it's not too stressful. This is one of those. We're going to make sweet potatoes au gratin. This is great on game day or especially for a brunch. Maybe you have leftover ham from a holiday. It's going to go along perfectly with it. We're going to use our mandolin to slice the sweet potatoes. And I have a great tip I'm going to show you in a few minutes of what to do with the ends. And we're going to add some aged cheddar cheese and get some cream in there and toast up the breadcrumbs. It's really simple, but it's really delicious, and I think you're going to love this recipe. So stay tuned throughout the hour as I bring you sweet potatoes au gratin today.
It's the Crystal Classic International Sand Sculpting Festival on Siesta Beach, November 11th through 15th, with 24 of the world's best sand sculptors. Bring the family for new hands-on kids activities, live music, food, sand sculpting lessons, and more. See SiestaKeyCrystalClassic.com for details.
The all-new MySuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
Why wait until the turkey has you feeling tired? The Black Friday sales event is already started at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokees. Stop by today and drive away in a brand new Jeep Compass for just $15,999. Or save big on a new Jeep Cherokee starting at just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
Come see the Crystal Classic International Sand Sculpting Festival November 11th through 15th on Siesta Beach. Check out the Crystal Classic Party Tent, produced by Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce and Moat Marine. Details including remote parking via SCAT. Visit SiestaKeyCrystalClassic.com.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Got some nice pictures sent in of our big supermoon. These are actually from yesterday when the viewing was a little bit better. This morning it was kind of dodgy out there. A lot of thicker cloud cover kind of obscuring the moon from time to time. Even yesterday we had some high thin clouds, but you still from time to time got a peek at the moon, and it was indeed a beautiful sight. Very bright indeed, almost like street lights out there. Nice shot sent in from Venice, where the Christmas decorations are up, and of course you can see the moon just in between the decorations there. Nice shot. Thank you so much for sending these in to pics@mysuncoast.com. We appreciate it. Send them in if you snapped any from this morning, and we'll try to get them on the air for you. 77 degrees our current air temperature. We have a dew point of 63. We have a north-northwest wind coming in at about 8. I think that'll be a pretty standard kind of wind direction. As we head into the afternoon, the frontal boundary sinking southward. It's kind of moving past our area now and on its trek, which will take all day long to get to the southern tip of the state and clear out till tomorrow morning, which will allow this high pressure ridge to start building in. And when that happens, we'll start to get some sinking air around here, which will take this gently lifting, gently rising air that we have over us now, producing this thin layer of clouds, and get rid of it. Mix it away with some sinking air that'll provide us with lots of sunshine as we head into the remainder of the weekend. Plus, our winds will be coming out of the north, maybe shifting to the northeast with time. Northeast wind, always good for us. We like that wind right now, especially with the red tide issues. Mostly cloudy skies, isolated sprinkle, some clearing taking place tomorrow. Those are the weather highlights that carry you through today and into tomorrow. And when I say an isolated sprinkle, I really do mean just an occasional sprinkle here or there. We're not getting anything, I think, that'll really approach significant measurable rainfalls out of all of this cloud cover that we have across the region. This is the rainfall futurecast, and as we put it into motion, one thing you will notice is because it also looks at cloud, you can see how quickly we are going to clear out tomorrow as that high pressure ridge begins to build in. By Tuesday evening, we've got clear skies out there, and overnight tomorrow night, I think we'll have pretty much clear conditions. And then once that happens across the peninsula, once that front is pushed down to the south, we are left with an extended period of fine weather. Now, the supermoon combined with some strong onshore winds did create a little bit of a coastal flooding situation earlier on. But right now, we certainly don't have any kind of situation like that. But we do have some scattered showers across the area, drizzle, I should say, and that will be the case throughout the afternoon. Here and there, 10-knot wind. Not a bad day to be out on the water. You got the cloud cover around, kind of block the sun. You might have to deal with a shower or two out there, but other than that, it should be pretty quiet, tame wind conditions. Looking at about a 10% chance of a little bit of sprinkles or maybe a quick, brief passing shower. Daytime high around 78 today. A little cooler tomorrow once that front has moved through. And over the week ahead, gorgeous weather. Perhaps a front on Sunday might knock our temperatures down a little bit more. In the next half hour, we'll talk about the tropics, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. In health news, fewer people are lighting up. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reporting cigarette smoking rates have hit an all-time low. The number of smokers has dropped about 15% from 45 million to nearly 37 million between 2005 and 2015. Despite that drop, the CDC says more needs to be done to prevent tobacco use. Nearly half of all cancer cases are linked to tobacco. New research shows long-term use of a popular prescription arthritis drug does not increase heart-related complications, but it is raising some questions about the drugs it was compared with. Erica Foreman reports.
For a decade, researchers have been concerned about how the popular arthritis drug celecoxib, or Celebrex, would impact the heart when compared to commonly prescribed drugs ibuprofen and naproxen. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Stephen Nissen led the study, known as the Precision Trial.
The answer is now in, and there was no increase in risk. In fact, the actual number of cardiovascular events that occurred was smaller with celecoxib or Celebrex than with ibuprofen or naproxen.
Researchers treated more than 24,000 people with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis who were at high risk for heart disease. They were split into 3 groups and received daily prescription doses of either celecoxib, ibuprofen, or naproxen. Study participants were treated for an average of 20 months and followed for about 3 years. The primary results show that celecoxib did not increase the risk of heart complications. Researchers also looked into other known complications from these drugs: stomach ulcers, kidney problems, and overall risk of dying. Secondary results show that celecoxib had generally lower risk of these complications when compared to ibuprofen and naproxen. Dr. Nissen says the results are surprising, and even more so when it comes to naproxen.
Many guidelines and commentators over the years have recommended to heart patients that they take naproxen. It was believed to be the safest of the drugs, and we didn't find that. It wasn't the safest of the drugs.
It's important to note that the medication doses in the study were prescription strength and that study participants used the drugs long term. Dr. Nissen says Americans shouldn't be excessively fearful of taking the occasional over-the-counter ibuprofen or naproxen for aches and pains, as long as they're taking the recommended dose.
It is sobering, and it does require people to understand that they need to stay within the dosing guidelines for those over-the-counter doses.
Study co-author Dr. Elaine Husney says the results give patients more options and will help doctors fine-tune treatment plans.
We're able to make better choices and more informed choices with the patient.
At Cleveland Clinic, I'm Erica Foreman.
And if you'd like to learn more, complete results for this precision trial can be found online in the New England Journal of Medicine. Still ahead today at noon, before you give out that holiday donation, think about where it's going. We'll tell you why some local charities are telling you to think before you give.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
Types of timber, cuts of meat, cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
As the holiday season approaches, a lot of people want to give back to their community, but for some here on the Suncoast, that giving could be harmful. Sarasota Salvation Army staff say generosity from the community can unintentionally keep homeless people from seeking the resources they might really need. It could also create more problems in the long run by causing those in need to be more dependent.
Is it may meet an immediate need for the day. If someone wants to give someone a sandwich, it may meet an immediate need for that day, but what it doesn't address is the complex systems and issues and needs that person has to actually take them from homelessness to housed.
Salvation Army staff members say there's nothing wrong with being generous, but says the best way to do it is to volunteer your time and give donations to organizations that can help. Let's get back over to the kitchen now, see how lunch is coming along with Chef Judy Gallagher.
Okay, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get the milk and the cream heated up because that's going to be the cooking agent for the sweet potatoes before they go in the oven. So we're going to use about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of whole milk. And then we're going to add 1/2 pint of heavy cream. Now, to bring up that flavor profile, we're going to use the Autumn Spice Blend from the Spice and Tea Exchange. I love this. I use it all fall and winter time, even in the spring, to be honest, with peaches, but it's got that wonderful blend you can use in savory or sweet cooking. So then we're going to add some salt and pepper, and we're going to bring the temperature up. We want to get this really hot so it can cook the sweet potatoes, but we don't want it to scald. So we'll bring that up. And now let's talk about the sweet potatoes. So we've peeled them, and we're going to take a mandolin, and this mandolin is what slices it, and you need some muscle, let me tell you. But what you're going to get are these beautiful sweet potato planks. Now, when you cut the sweet potatoes, you're going to have the ends and the small bits. Save those. Chelsea Ferguson from Cutting Loose Salon has taught me this great breakfast recipe of dicing up the sweet potatoes with a little bit of onions and frying that up with chicken sausage in the morning and putting fried eggs on top. So that's perfect, and that's what I'm going to do with these sweet potatoes. So I'm kind of getting a double plan here. Now we're going to take all the sliced sweet potatoes, and you can slice them the day before, and we're going to gently lay them into the cream and the milk, okay? So let's just put that in there. Oh, this is going to be so good. It's pretty decadent, but I think we're worth it, don't you? So then we're going to line our pan, our casserole dish, with a little food spray, and then I just put a little cheddar cheese on the bottom like so. And then after the sweet potatoes cook, I would say for probably about 15 minutes. We want to get them tender, but not too soft, and shake off that water. But it cooks in the cream and the milk. We're going to pour it into the pan. Now, what's great is that you can use things like sliced apples, sauteed leeks in this as well. You could even add bacon. But I just find it's really yummy with the apples and the cheddar cheese. When I come back, let's toast up the panko breadcrumbs and make this sweet potato au gratin delish.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, you'll always get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing. Complimentary maintenance included at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Come meet the artists and enjoy their creations at the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. Over 100 artists and thousands of works of contemporary art in photography, glass, sculpture, jewelry, and much more. The 4th Annual Sarasota Fine Art Festival. Saturday and Sunday, November 19th and 20th at Selby Five Points Park in downtown Sarasota. Bring your love and appreciation of art to the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. For more information, visit ParagonArtEvents.com.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just
get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. New reaction to the president-elect's first big decisions. Donald Trump announcing his 2 first hires this weekend, but not everyone likes his choices. Trump also talking about his big campaign promises in a 16 Minutes interview. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in Washington with more.
It's Donald Trump's first major decision as president-elect. 2 big hires for his new team. Trump, the ultimate Washington outsider, hiring Reince Priebus, the ultimate insider, to run his White House as chief of staff. As head of the Republican National Committee, Priebus played a huge role in the party's decisive victory.
We want to just tell all Americans, no matter who you are, where you come from, what your religion, race, gender, we want Donald Trump to be your president.
Trump's also calling for America to unite. In an interview on 60 Minutes, Trump responds to reports of hate crimes across the country.
I am so saddened to hear that, and I say stop it.
But for many, another Trump hire is only fueling this fear. Stephen Bannon, the one-time Goldman Sachs banker and until recently executive chairman of Breitbart, a right-wing opinion and news site, and now a number of organizations, including the Council on American Islamic Relations and the Anti-Defamation League, are denouncing the hire. The ADL saying in a statement, it's a sad day when a man who presided over the premier website of the alt-right, a loose-knit group of white nationalists and unabashed anti-Semites and racists, is slated to be a senior staff member in the People's House.
I find him not to be the way that he's being accused. I find him to be the opposite. Don't judge people based on what other people say.
Also on 60 Minutes, Trump appeared to soften on some of his more hardline campaign promises, now saying that he'll focus first on criminal undocumented immigrants, and that when it comes to same-sex marriage, well, that's already been decided by the Supreme Court. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
Florida is one step closer to announcing a new Supreme Court justice, a state nominating panel voting to interview all 11 applicants who are still in the running to replace Justice James Perry. Perry will retire at the end of next month. Governor Scott will appoint his replacement. Some of the applicants include judges, a prosecutor, and a state legislator. Interviews will begin after the Thanksgiving holiday. Overseas, 2 people are dead after a strong earthquake and several aftershocks hit the South Island of New Zealand. The magnitude 7.8 earthquake hit just after midnight local time, also causing a tsunami. 12 hours later, a 6.2 magnitude quake also hit that same area. Prime Minister says crews are working to make sure people have food, water, and other resources. The damage could cost the country billions of dollars. New Zealand is routinely hit by earthquakes. If the clouds allow, take a look up at the moon tonight. It won't get much bigger and brighter than this. It's the phenomenon called supermoon, which happens every 14 months. Today's supermoon, though, is extra super. It's the closest the moon has come to the U.S. or to the Earth in nearly 69 years. It won't be this close for another 18 years. This morning, it came within 221,000 miles of Earth. Unfortunately, we had some clouds around, but maybe those will clear by this evening. What do you think, John?
I think it will still be beating back the clouds, but
Yeah.
and we'll probably have more holes in them than we had this morning,
Right.
when it really was kind of tough to
Yeah.
see much of
Yeah.
anything. Saw it the day before yesterday, though. Did you look up and
I
get
did
a glass?
Yeah, it was nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was nice. You could tell that it was brighter, you know. It's amazing how much 17,000 miles difference makes, you know.
I guess a lot.
And, you know, it had an effect on some of the tides, too, across the
I would
nation.
bet, yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. From Jacksonville on up through Tybee Island, there were tidal heights that create some flooding on some of the coastal roadways. So pretty interesting. We, on the other hand, have only a few scattered showers and patches of drizzle to deal with today. About a 10% chance of that. Lakewood Ranch webcam shows a pretty gray sky. In fact, I think throughout the remainder of the afternoon, that's kind of what we'll be dealing with, those sort of London skies, I guess you could say. You know, that kind of featureless, flat kind of cloud cover that they get in the wintertime. I think we're seeing a little bit of that across the Gulf waters and Atlantic waters and Florida Peninsula throughout the afternoon today. But a pretty sharp demarcation between the clouds and the clear skies located back to the north up around the Big Bend region. You can see that on satellite view pretty clearly. And as we head into the next, probably 18 to 24 hours, we'll start to see some of that drier air filter its way down into this region. Maybe if you want to get a look at that supermoon, tomorrow morning might be a good choice. We're looking at a little bit of rain showers, patchy drizzle just off the coast as we approach a daytime high today in the upper 70s. Clearing will occur. We'll talk about when and how much we're going to get over the course of the next few days in just a second, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. New concerns for some gun opponents across Florida. At least 6 companies that sell kits that allow buyers to assemble military-style semi-automatic rifles at home have sprung up recently. These kits have become popular because the parts have no serial numbers or other markings, making them untraceable. These so-called ghost guns can be purchased without a background check. Law enforcement says the unregistered guns can make it easy for criminals to arm themselves with untraceable weapons. There's a new twist in the murder case involving twin sisters. One of the women is charged for a second time now in the car crash that killed her twin. She's back in custody behind bars in New York, waiting to be extradited to Hawaii. ABC's Elizabeth Hur explains why this case is back in the headlines.
The baffling tale of these twins, both yoga instructors and aspiring reality TV stars, is back in the news, this time with Alexandria Duvall arrested a second time, accused of murdering her identical twin, Anastasia.
Did not intend to harm the person she was closest to in this world or herself.
Duvall's attorney is calling it an accident, but police, who searched for the 37-year-old for the last 2 weeks, arrested her in Albany over the weekend after a grand jury in Maui indicted her in the death of her sister. Now, according to prosecutors, last May, Duvall intentionally drove her SUV off this 200-foot cliff in Hawaii, killing her sister in the passenger seat. Witnesses say the two were fighting.
She was angrily, arguing with the person, whoever was yanking on her head. And then she was just in a rage.
But in June, a judge dropped the charges.
The court has concluded that the evidence fails to support a finding of probable cause.
Then came that grand jury indictment last month after investigators say they found evidence that the Ford Explorer accelerated just before the crash.
I think that's the most important piece of evidence against her, is the fact that she apparently didn't brake. But it's not an easy case to prove, and that's exactly what the judge was saying when the judge said there's not probable cause here.
Right now, Duvall is being held on $3 million bail and at last check still in Albany, waiting to be extradited back to Hawaii. Elizabeth Hur, ABC News, New York.
In Ohio, protests erupt after a judge declares a mistrial in the case involving a University of Cincinnati police officer and an unarmed black man. Ray Tensing was facing charges of murder and voluntary manslaughter in the shooting death of Sam DuBose during a 2015 traffic stop. The jury in the case could not reach a unanimous decision, so the judge declared a mistrial. Family and friends of DuBose are in shock over this outcome.
It really is hurting to know that my daddy really not coming back. That's evil, that's really evil.
The traffic stop was caught on body camera. Prosecutors say what started as a peaceful stop turned violent after DuBose refused to open his car door. Tensing then drew his weapon and fired, claiming he felt threatened. A Houston woman is charged with keeping dangerous exotic animals in her home where she lived with her 14-year-old daughter. Tricia Meyer was arrested in Nevada, charged with child endangerment. Court documents show Meyer had 3 tiger cubs, a full-grown adult tiger, a fox, skunk, and at one time several monkeys, all roaming freely within her home. The animals have been confiscated and placed now with animal control. Samsung is spending $8 billion while trying to gain an edge on other tech companies in the auto sector. The South Korean electronics giant is buying Harman International Industries. This U.S. company makes infotainment, safety, and security systems for vehicles. The move follows investments in the auto industry by tech giants from Apple to Google and chipmaker Qualcomm. Samsung is also trying to recover from its recent burning smartphone debacle. Let's get back to the kitchen now, see how lunch is coming along with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Judy?
Okay, so we had the sweet potatoes that basically started to cook in the milk and the cream. And that starts, what happens is the starch from the potato starts to come out, and that acts as a thickener. Now, if you feel that the cream mixture is a little bit too loose, by all means, you can use a well-sifted flour, like a fine, refined flour, just a tablespoon or two, and that will thicken it up. Now, in this pan, I have some of that fresh, delicious butter, and I always use like either a French butter or an Irish butter or grass-fed because it really makes a difference. And we're toasting up panko breadcrumbs. I love this part. It's going to be so yummy. Now, if you want to think out of the box, add some chopped pecans to this as well. My husband doesn't really like to put the pecans. He doesn't really like nuts in general, so I'm going to leave it out just so I can serve this for dinner tonight. But it is fun to think about the different ways that you can do it. Little salt and pepper on top. I took some of those leeks. Remember, I laid the apples on it, and that is just coming along perfectly. So as the breadcrumbs start to toast, and I'm watching the heat, I've got it pretty close to high, but if you can almost see where it's starting to get brown on the edges, you're going to keep moving it around because this is going to go in a 350-degree oven once I top this, and it's going to toast some more. So we don't want to get it too brown. So here we go. Let's start adding the breadcrumbs. I'll bring that over so I don't make a mess on this stove, and I did it anyway. And we'll just get these, and you can see how quickly when it starts hopping, those breadcrumbs are really toasting up. So we can spread that around. Beautiful, we have that part. Now let's add this shredded cheddar. And I'll do a mix of a sharp and a mild because I want a little bit of bite. The mild will go on top. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes. And then we're going to serve it just warm and bubbly. It's going to be wonderful. So get ready because I am just about ready to taste something really wonderful. And you can make this ahead and freeze it. I'll be back for a taste in just a few minutes.
These are our heroes. They have sacrificed so much to serve our country. And now Granny Nannies is truly honored to serve them. We're here and we're ready to help. Call us today.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. It's a healthy start to the week. We challenge each other to a rock climbing competition. Plus, we'll check our blood type and Harry's Continental in the kitchen. Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Minnesota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Minnesota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Minnesota Flooring today.
Alex Karras Lincoln's holiday sales event is here. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $269 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
At Granny Nannies, we provide your loved ones with the care they deserve, compassionate and experienced help right where you need it most, at home. Visit us at GrannyNannies.com.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Taking a look at our current air temperature, well, temperature's being held down just a little bit today by the cloud cover that we have around. 77 degrees the air temperature. Yeah, I think that that symbol of full sun out there might not be entirely correct. We've got some cloud cover about 63 degrees our air temperature, north-northwest wind coming in at about 8. So we have a frontal boundary that's sinking southward across the peninsula. As it does that, the warm, kind of moist air lifting up from the south along the southern branch jet stream kind of lifts up and over that wedge of colder, denser air and basically just creates a long layer of gently rising air. And that gently rising air maybe occasionally can wring out a drop or two of rainfall, but these are not going to be like a thunderstorm cloud or a squall line cloud or any clouds that produce appreciable kinds of rainfall. This is a very slowly rising air mass. That's why the bottoms of these clouds tend to be kind of somewhat featureless. High pressure to our north continues to build in, though, so as that front continues to sag south, we get some of that drier air building in. And the sinking air also means that the clouds can't rise. So when you get that sinking dome of high pressure building in, it means fairer weather and clearer skies. And that's what we have for us tomorrow. Winds will be out of the north pretty much today, north, northwest, and then a little bit more northeast as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So mostly cloudy skies, isolated sprinkles possible, and then some clearing is going to take place tomorrow. And in fact, it's going to occur pretty quickly, I think, in the afternoon. And we'll end up with fairly clear skies by later in the evening. Here's the RPM computer model put into motion. You see all the cloud cover that's about, and then boom, tomorrow afternoon, the front sinks south, high pressure builds in, and the cloud cover goes away. And that's where we are going to stay for days on end, with some pretty nice blue skies, lots of sunshine, and fair weather. You can see the patches of light showers out in Gulf waters. The tendency will be for these to kind of dissipate a little bit as they get closer to us, but you see the frontal boundary sinking southward. A lot of what you're seeing here not even reaching the ground, but some of it is, so we'll put in a slight chance at some sprinkles and some light rain. We have some in progress now, mostly in inland areas, and also Venice, you might get a little bit of light rain here in about a half an hour or so. Otherwise, this is the scenario that'll be with us throughout the day. So we have not ended our tropical season yet, and the Hurricane Center watching this cluster of clouds as it lifts northward into this general area of the Western Caribbean. The waters are still very warm, the upper level winds are still very light, and there is some belief based on computer models that we could see some development occur here down the road. In fact, the Hurricane Center gives this area about a 60% chance of development. What we don't know yet is whether it lifts north over Cuba or stays in place and just rains itself out. So stay tuned. Hurricane season not over yet. North wind coming in at about 10 knots, becoming northwest a little bit later tonight and then into tomorrow. 10% chance of rainfall today, and then everything clears out, sun returns, and we look for some nice weather over the next several days. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. People across the country are packing up and taking their lives on the road, and it seems to be a growing trend. ABC's Lauren Lister has more.
24-year-old entrepreneur Xander Kingsley lives at the office.
Yeah, this is our lounge space slash storefront. So
yes, he actually lives at the office. It's a little tight. The founder of Kawasa Clothing Company and his two partners bought a school bus at auction and turned it into an RV to strike their ultimate work-life balance.
This is our counter space. When it's a store, this is our display case.
Home and store, all in one.
I wanted to cut costs and see America.
The benefits, no rent for an apartment or store, as Xander travels the country building his business. What is the thing you miss the most?
A hot shower.
And it's not just Xander and his school bus. There seems to be a growing movement of people turning vehicles into their homes. There's even a hashtag for it, van life. On Instagram, more than 900,000 posts from around the country and world. In Nevada City, California, 53-year-old nonprofit fundraiser Jennifer Langdon and her father fixing up this camper so she can take it to the road full time.
It wasn't that I needed to find a new job or move to a new city. I could take my home with me.
One 24-year-old Bay Area software engineer blogging about his home, a box truck, claiming it's allowed him to pay off his student loans and bank 6 figures towards retirement.
In part, this is driven by the economics of it, as well as the cultural appeal of it.
Downsides of the lifestyle include overnight parking restrictions and the neighbors.
When people see people living in their vehicles, they will often report them.
That headache is worth it for people like Xander.
It's like, where's my office going to be today? Is it going to be in the mountains? Is it going to be by the beach?
Lauren Lister, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Entertainment news is next. Stay with us.
I'm Alan Cohn. A massive expansion at New College. We investigate how a 40% increase in students could impact one of the state's smallest schools.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, I have an important message. You may be entitled to receive disability benefits through Social Security. You'll be matched up with an advocate who will evaluate your situation, handle your application, deal with Social Security for you, and handle all appeals and hearings. Best of all, there are no upfront fees, so you pay nothing until you receive your benefits. Call the Citizens Disability Helpline today for a free, no-obligation consultation.
Attention breast cancer survivors. If you experience permanent hair loss or baldness after chemotherapy, you may qualify for a cash award. Thousands of women suffering breast cancer were given a chemotherapy drug without being warned about the possibility of irreversible alopecia. If you or a loved one suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy, call 888-622-8732. Time to file a claim is limited. 888-622-8732. That's 888-622-8732.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice, they gave me the chance to do just that. They helped me find the time to care for myself, all the while with the peace of mind of knowing my husband is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Hello, I'm Jamie DiDomenico with Cool Today, Plumbing Today, and Energy Today. Here on the Suncoast, taking care of people is more than a slogan. It's a way of life. On Tuesday, November 15th, do your part and show that the Suncoast cares. Come by the Suncoast Blood Bank from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and donate one or more of these important items needed by local organizations, including a life-saving blood donation. For more details, visit suncoastcares.org. That's Tuesday, November 15th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Suncoast Blood Bank. See you there.
Well, here we have it, out of the oven. Sweet potato au gratin. We have those beautiful buttery toasted panko crumbs, layers of the sweet potatoes and a little bit of apple, and that cooked gently in some hot milk and cream. Those fall autumn flavors of nutmeg and cinnamon and cloves come together with that delicious spice blend and cheddar cheese. I mean, this is just such a yummy dish. A small amount is going to be perfect. It's so good. You can serve it on any game day for brunch, or like I said earlier, it goes great with this, you know, leftover ham, but you're gonna love this recipe. You can freeze the leftovers. You can always add a little scalding milk to chill it up. You can go on mysuncoast.com, click on the dining page and recipes, and we should have that recipe up for you within the next day. I hope you enjoy it. I know I'm gonna stand here and enjoy it.
All right, Judy, thank you so much. ESPN is back covering the Dallas Mavericks NBA games again. The team's owner, Mark Cuban, reinstating press credentials to 2 ESPN reporters after revoking them more than a week ago. Cuban was protesting the fact the reporters were not covering the team on a full-time basis and could start using automated reporting. ESPN's president says the network has never planned to use automated reporting for its NBA coverage. A big weekend for ticket sales at the movies. Marvel's Doctor Strange led the box office for the second straight week, earning $43 million. Trolls took the second spot with an estimated $35 million in ticket sales. And the science fiction thriller called Arrival, starring Amy Adams, scored the weekend's top debut with a better than expected $24 million. The post-election weekend was up nearly 50% from last year, as some people may have been looking for an escape. One of Hollywood's biggest stars is retiring, but Robert Redford is not walking out on the movies, just stepping around to the other side of the camera. At age 80, Redford says he's tired of acting and just wants to focus now on his work as a director. He's not quitting the silver screen, though, just yet. Redford says he still has 2 more acting projects in the works. Coming across Bruce Springsteen on a broken-down motorcycle on the side of a road would probably be a lyric from one of his songs, but it really happened for a group of guys from New Jersey. A group from the Freehold American Legion was riding after a Veterans Day event when they pulled over to help a stranded motorcycle rider who turned out to be the boss. Reportedly, the group and the boss went to a local bar. They talked about motorcycles and his old Freehold days. Springsteen was raised in Freehold and still lives in New Jersey. What a story.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
I would think that Bruce Springsteen could afford a bike that won't break down.
He'll get it fixed.
He's just a regular guy.
I know. Have a wonderful afternoon. We hope to see you again at 5 o'clock, everyone.